I wanted to answer this question by giving you an example of what happens when you live in a three-strike state. Now, this question was left on the Maya Hernandez video. She's the mom that went inside to get a cosmetic procedure, leaves her two kids in the car, causing the death of one of them. Why? Because even though she left the car on with the AC, she apparently was unaware that her car turns off after a period of time. And well, we now know that she was inside chit-chatting for over 2 hours waiting to be called in the back to get her cosmetic procedure done. Now, she was sentenced to 15 years in prison and 2 strikes on her record. What happens if she gets arrested again after getting out? Well, let me introduce you to Tameka Drummer. Tameka had served in prison in 1992 for voluntary manslaughter and in 1998 for aggravated assault. However, in 2006, she is stopped because her license plate is expired. The police find less than 2 ounces of marijuana in her vehicle, but because she lives in a 3-strike state, for that offense, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, if it would have been her first offense, she would have probably just gotten 3 years or most likely a plea deal, depending on the attorney. Now, a lot of people are upset about this. This has come out in the news. Many people have called for reform on this 3-strike rule or law in certain states. And what's interesting about all of this is that the governor makes clear that he is not considering clemency at all for habitual offenders like Drummer. In fact, she has already served 20 years in prison at the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility. And a lot of people are calling for a change of law because the fact of the matter is, when you have these 3 strikes, you're getting sentenced to life. It removes the discretion that a judge would essentially have depending on the offense that you're arrested for. And this right here is an example of what's going to happen in California. When she gets relieved after her 15 years, if she gets stopped, if she has a felony, she automatically can get her car checked. And if there's anything there, any reason to arrest her, for example, suspended license, she would then be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. What are your thoughts on this, guys?